What if I told you the most boring movie of 2023 was about a hunky superhero who could talk to fish? Yes, we're diving deep into the murky waters of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and oh boy, it's not the splash we expected. Yes, you heard it right. Stick around to find out why. Welcome to our movie review. Today, we're diving deep into the ocean to talk about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. This film is the final chapter in the DC Extended Universe, following on the heels of its predecessor, the 2018 blockbuster Aquaman. Despite the original film's mixed reviews, it made waves, raking in over $1 billion at the box office. Now, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom took a different dive. The sequel, while anticipated, is often described as bland, forgettable, and barely makes a splash. Indeed, it's been labeled the most boring movie of 2023. So how did a movie with $1 billion predecessor sink so low? Let's find out. A movie is only as good as its cast, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom certainly had some big fish. Now let's dive deep into the ocean of performances. On one hand, we have Patrick Wilson, who plays Orm Marius, Aquaman's brother. His performance? As refreshing as a cool ocean breeze. He's the brother you love to hate and hate to love, bringing depth to the deep sea. Then there's John Rhys-Davies, lending his voice to the Brine King. His performance? Think of the most majestic whale song echoing through the ocean. His voice work is a beacon in the murky waters of this film. And then we have Amber Heard, playing Mera. Her performance is akin to a jellyfish, beautiful to look at but lacking substance. She floats through the scenes but fails to make a splash. It's like she's drifting in the currents of this movie, rather than swimming against the tide. These actors are like sea creatures in an aquarium, captivating in their own right, but confined by the glass walls of a script that doesn't allow them to truly swim free. But even a good cast can't save a ship from sinking if there's a hole in the hull. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the whale in the ocean. The real issue with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was its script and pacing. Imagine a marathon runner poised at the starting line, muscles rippling with anticipation. The gunshot fires and he bolts forward, only to trip over his shoelaces and tumble down a hill. That's what watching this movie was like. It started with so much potential but tripped over its own narrative and never quite found its footing again. The plot was like a ship lost at sea, meandering aimlessly, buffeted by waves of unnecessary subplots and detours that led nowhere. It was as if the writers had tossed a dozen storylines into the ocean, hoping one would catch a current and lead somewhere exciting. But alas, they all just floated aimlessly, bobbing up and down in a sea of confusion. The pacing, on the other hand, was like a seasick sailor, lurching from one extreme to the other. One moment, we were drowning in a whirlpool of action. The next, we were stranded on a desert island of tedious dialogue. It was hard to keep up, and even harder to stay interested. And it wasn't just the pacing and plot that were all at sea. The character development was also left floundering. Characters would drift in and out of the story like flotsam and jetsam, with no real purpose or direction. In the end, the movie felt like a long, aimless journey with no real destination. It was as if we, the audience, were stranded at sea with no compass, no map, and no hope of rescue. So, in the end, even the king of the ocean couldn't keep this movie afloat. Now for the million-dollar question. Is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom worth your time? Well, let's dive into the depths and see. The film is, in essence, a mixed bag. On one hand, we have commendable performances by Patrick Wilson and John Rhys-Davies, whose voices and acting skills shine through. The action sequences are well shot, and the CGI in the underwater scenes is a sight to behold. However, this film is dragged down by a lackluster script and pacing that, quite frankly, might leave you gasping for air more than any deep-sea adventure. It's an unfortunate end to the DC Extended Universe film series, as it fails to live up to the billion-dollar success of its predecessor. The character Mera, played by Amber Heard, is left floundering without a meaningful contribution to the story. Overall, the film is considered bland, forgettable, and barely passable. It's a case of good cast, poor execution. So if you're considering watching it, you might want to wait until it's available on streaming platforms. So there you have it. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom might be better off lost in the depths. That said, we've come to the end of our deep dive. It's been a whirlwind journey, hasn't it? The highs, the lows, well, mostly lows. To keep the conversation going, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. I promise I'll reply to every comment saying, I subscribe.